Right, good evening and welcome to UFRL Tier 2 at COTA, Circuits of America. Um, Apologies to go straight in it, I was trying to get a couple of drivers into the lobby. Yeah, so apologies, we're going to go straight into Q1 full qualifying tonight. Be interesting to see the times in comparison to the Tier 2 guys, Tier 1 guys rather, yesterday. Sorry, just grabbing a drink. Right, so not sure what the hold up is. Typical EA. There we go. We're up and running. And Q1 is underway. So let's get this enabled. Fastest lap. Full track map, right. So in Austin tonight, of course, virtually. As the drivers are just, I assume the drivers are just applying their final tweaks to their cars. And it's going to be a case of who comes out first, as we have an Alfa Romeo leaving, so that'll be Car Guinness or Hybrid. I hope it's Car Guinness, because Hybrid is so in a quality ban, although he is allowed to go out and do an outlap. If someone could advise the audio levels in the stream, that'd be grand. So we have a Red Bull departing as well. So we're going to go on board with Guinness. And he's just flowing through the S sections there as you dive down towards the left-hand hairpin. Under the Fanatic. Hold in there and you sweep him round. Good lines there. Want to get as much... Yeah, and that sun is blinding, but the session is unrealistic. And then we're going to sweep round in towards a tight part of the track where you can lose quite a lot of time through here. So through the first hairpin and then you're coming round the right hand sweeper. Maximum attack through here. And then you just got the one final corner to navigate pit lane on the left, and now Guinness is going to start his push lap. First push lap for Tier 2. My screen is really pale. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know. I've not changed any settings, so I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see if I can edit that on the fly. Just bear with me. Sorry for the lack of commentary, I'm just trying to sort this out. Still very pale. Still pale. Yeah, right, let's go into settings here. How bizarre. I have no idea why it's doing that. I will try and amend it in the 5-minute break. So Carguinness goes through the 1:35. It's right on my screen. I just don't get that. So we'll come away from Carguinness. We'll go on with Bucky, who's gone purple in Sector 2. As the Red Bull just gets out of the way, and now he's in the sweeping right-hander. Maximum attack for Bucky. Had a solid enough race, I believe, from memory in Tier 1 last night, reserving. And he nearly runs wide there, but he is fastest with a 1:35.1. So we'll go on board with BRL Shadow. BRL Shadow is going to come across the line for 1:38.4 onto the Ferrari and Mickey on the mediums, 1:35.5. That's one to watch, I think. We'll go on board with last week's winner, Joker. What sort of time? As Swanton goes into the 1:34s, 1:34.5 for Swanton. The Joker coming around now. Got the McLaren of Eyeball Pole just up the circuit from him. I think it's Eyeball Pole anyway. Could be Bucky again actually. As Joker spun. Joker spun in the sweeper. So Joker's going to get off the racing line for the AlphaTauri on the march. As the Alpha's invalidated, so we'll go on board. We'll go on board with Maddie. Maddie's in the pits. We'll go on board with Copeland. And Copeland struggling through the S section there. Lost ample time. Will abandon this lap surely. But he's got a rampaging Red Bull behind him. Hope he gets out of harm's way. But no, he's all right now. Putting some heat into his tyres. We'll come away from Copeland and we'll go on board with the Gatekeeper, who is invalidated, so we'll come away. Go back on board with Carguinness, who's on a second push lap but down on time. So Carguinness just coming through the sweeper now. And he's going to box. So we'll come away from Carguinness. So we have yellow flags in Sector 1, but we're on board with Copeland, and Hybrid has retired from the session. Serving his quali ban, of course. So Hybrid will be out. And there'll be 2 more departing with him. So as Copeland invalidates and the Mercedes offline. A lot of cars invalidating here. We'll go on board with Boy Knockout. It's purple in Sector 1 according to the game, so Boy Knockout on the charge. So as we head towards the hairpin. It's a tight line there from Boy Knockout. Power down. Maximum attack now. You've seen the lines the Tier 1 guys are taking. He's got a McLaren on the left who won't affect his lap. So yeah, the Red Bull just coming in. The Tier 1s guys were a lot more aggressive over that curve yesterday. So the Red Bull just sweeping round through the hairpins at the back end of the circuit. Now it's maximum power. Foot to the floor. Now just the penultimate corner now, and then he will stay out. It's going to be a good lap from Boy Knockout, but a little bit of a twitch there and cost him a little bit of time, but good enough for P7. We'll go on board with Maddie, and the game says Maddie's gone purple in sector 1, so Maddie on the charge as well. No, I just removed that just to see, but no, I'm going to try and edit it after qualifying. So Maddie coming round sector 2 now, just come past the long straight, and Maddie is flying. Oh, moment there, that could be an invalidation, but it's not. Just through the final corner now, and she's going to charge to the line. 41, 36, 7. So that's P12. Game suggested she did 2 purple sectors there, so she definitely lost some time in the final bit. We're on board with her teammate Copeland, who is just going to come round the sweeping right hander now. Evening to Genty. And Copeland is invalidated again. So we're going to go on board with Sergeant Coffee in the Williams. And he is invalidated, locked up as well. So we'll go on board with UJGC. So UJGC coming round now, and he's invalidated as well. So sorry, I'm just trying to sort the contrast out. As Joker's coming round, Joker will be looking to improve. You have the flags AlphaTauri to the left of him. Not going to be an issue as he enters his braking phase. Looks like he may have lost a little bit of time through there. Has Joker backed out of this lap? Yeah, he has. So UFRL Shadow were on board with the sister Mercedes as they begin their push lap. Yeah, it's not though. Let me delete it then and see if that works. No, it's not that. I've just deleted the 14 layer. So Shadow slowing down. Apologies for that. I will try something at the end of Q1. To try and get us a better picture. So end of Q1 I will have a little tinker. So we're going to go down the back straight now. Come on board with King Bryn. So Swanton, I'm very happy in P1, you won't need to go out again. I suggest from maybe Boy Knockout down, you may have to go again. But there is only 2 spaces to go in qualifying, so maybe Boy Knockout will think he's safe. But I'd suggest from Harvey down, you've got to go, definitely go again. As Maddie's on an out lap. King Bryn in the Alpine just coming round now. As we have yellow flags in sector 1, but Gingbrin pushing it to the limit, and that could be an invalidation. It's not. He is going to box. On board with Copeland, yet to get a good time in, yet to get a full lap in. It's a better line through the S's. Can he hold it together? He can. And we have a ailing Ferrari just ahead of him. I assume it's going to be Pro Beast as Mickey is in the pits. Mickey would be very happy if he can save a set of soft tyres for Q2. Copeland needing a lap yet to set a meaningful lap as he comes round now. Now it's just about keeping a good line, keep it inside tracks, give yourself a chance. 2-3 minutes left. And he runs a little bit wide there, a little bit skittish on the exit, and now it's into the fast sweeping section of the track. And he spun it, Copeland spun it, and he's out. Copeland is out, so there'll be one remaining space, and Pro Beast is on the bubble. So Pro Beast will be gearing himself up, and he needs a good lap here, Pro Beast. And he spun the commentator's curse. He's driving the wrong way on track. Give himself a little bit more chance, and away you go. Oh, false start for Pro Beast. And he's underway. But he needs to get round and go again, you feel. Bucky, you back in? I obviously can't see if you're back in. I don't know if Mrs. Perham sent one. Apologies for this, guys. You should have one now, Bucks. So Pro Beast just coming round. He needs to get round before the 50-minute one. I mean, he'll easily get round, but it's all or nothing. So, Pro Beast on the charge. Right. Pro Beast on the bubble, as I said. He needs to improve by 7/10. Otherwise, he's going to be out of Q1. And he's pushing it to the limit there. Through the S section. He's up on time, so Pro Beast up on time. Needs to 5 more temps though. As the checkered flag has fallen. And it's a case of if anyone else will improve as well. He's going to be the last car across the line, so he will know what he needs to do. So it's maximum attack now for Pro Beast. As the checkered flag has fallen, and Sergeant Coffee with a 136, so Pro Beast needs to find 1.2 all of a sudden. A lot of work here for Pro Beast to do as we head into the hairpin. Now we've got the left-hander, tight left-hander. Good line there from the Ferrari. As Jamie's in the stream cheering on his McLaren teammates, Eyeball Ball and Bucky, and has Pro Beast done enough? It's a dive to the line. It's not going to be enough. Despite the improvement, Pro Beast is going to be out of Q1. And on that note, I'm just going to put you on this screen whilst I... In fact, I'm not sure I can do it. Just bear with me. Oh, what is going on? I can't seem to do it. Trying to do this on the fly, guys, as we start Q2. I will keep my eye on it. As we have a Alfa Romeo coming out. I don't know. Sorry guys, just have to grin and bear it tonight, I'm afraid. The paler screen. And then I will look to amend it for the next race I cover. Apologies for that. Right, so we'll go on board with King Bryn on the outlap. There's 14 viewers in the chat now as Hockeyman cheering on his Red Bull teammates. Hockeyman in Tier 4, of course. Good to see the camaraderie between teammates across all tiers. Really brought that element to our league with the combined constructors. So the Alpine charging into the hairpin. And we're off through the S's section. As King Bryn runs wide, we'll come away. Go on board with Mickey, who has now bolted on the set of soft tyres. And Mickey runs wide. Mickey caught the curb there. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. The game implied that He ran off. That was weird. So, Gatekeeper coming through at turn 1. Through the S's he goes. Just keeping on to the rear of the car. So AlphaTauri's, as eyeball Paul goes fastest currently with a 1:35.2. That would get him into Q2 based on the Q1 time. So eyeball Paul and Mickey into the 1:34s now, 1:34.8. So Ferrari on the move. So the AlphaTauri coming round now, and it goes 1:35.8. Let me just enable this stuff, all the good stuff again, so you can see a Swanton nearly into the 1:33s. So it will come away from there, as we've got a few people on the mediums now. So Bucky nearly runs it wide, just keeps him by inside as Kotkas has left the session. Bucky is slowing. Come away from the Red Bull, and we'll go on board with the sister Red Bull, who is down on time, so we'll actually come away. And Joker slipped up into P2 under the radar. Gatekeeper still on the softs. Go on board with Ghosts. He's about to start his hot lap. In fact, he's going to pit, because of Ghost's pit. And then we'll go on board with Bucky, who will go round again, surely. So Bucky now on the charge. Needs to set a meaningful lap with 8 minutes to go. So he heads towards turn 1. We go through the S section. He has a moment there, Bucky. Looked like he nearly dropped it, but looked like he also performed a good save there. So we come through the S's, and that is an invalidation, ran off track. So we'll come away and go on board with King Bryn in the Alpine. So King Bryn coming down towards the tight left-handed hairpin now. And now it's all about the charge towards the back straight and the tight left-hander. What line would take? You've seen how aggressive the tier 1 guys were yesterday, really pushing the track limits. You could say exceeding the track limits last night at points, but tier 2 a lot less aggressive so far as the Alpine coming through. Says King Bryn's gone purple in sector 2, so really on the move. That's going to be a dive to the finish line for King Bryn. Could be around the 135s. Yeah, 135.3. Good enough for P3. So we'll go on board with Maddie. What sort of time can she do? She, the Salt has left after Copeland found a barrier. So Maddie pushing it to the car to its limits. And we'll get a good exit here. And now it's a drag race to the line. And it's a 135.5 for Maddie. So we'll go on board with... Everyone's on outlaps. We'll go on board with Sergeant Coffee. On his brand new set of soft tyres, as we have 6 minutes left in Q1. In Q2, sorry. And I suspect the cut-off point, I expect from probably from Boy Knockout down. May not feel safe, but from Maddie down, I would suggest probably have to go out again. Boy Knockout is sort of on the fence. I think King Brent upwards is probably safe. But don't take my word for it. That's the Sergeant diving into turn 1. Now Coffee coming to the technical S's section, where you can gain so much time or lose so much time, and that is a good line through there from Coffee. You sweep round, car bolted to the track like a Scalextric car there. He comes through the S's, and that seemed to be very tidy from the Williams. Tyres screeching as he tries to get that car to come to a halt, and he's aborted the lap. Coffee has aborted the lap. So on board with Shadow, who is actually invalidated. So we'll go on board with Bucky, who is about to start a push run. Runs wide there. So McLaren yesterday did a very stellar job in Tier 1. We'll be on looking for an even better performance come lights out today. We have the other flags waving in Sector 3, not going to affect Bucky as he comes through the last of the S's, and that again looks very tidy through there. And now it's maximum power for the McLaren driver. So Bucky just coming around now. Be interested to see where he is. He's seems to be a little bit down on time. May have to go again here, Bucky. So he has a little bit of a slow exit as well. It's gonna put him in P7. So will that be enough? Maddie out, Maddie down, and down on time as well. We'll go on board with Cat Guinness. Also down on time. Red Bull moves out of the way, very wise. We'll come away from as Kofi's down by 12 seconds, so we'll come away from it. Can Gatekeeper improve? Well done. Everyone down on time. So we have 2 minutes left to get yourself into the top 10 for our top 10 shootout. So Maddie needs to come out the pits, otherwise she's not going to be setting a time. She's going to be out. And I believe Maddie's going to be out of qualifying now. So Maddie is out. So that's 4 spaces remaining. What can Harvey do? Harvey doesn't improve. Got to go again. BRL Shadow, the man to watch. As Maddie's retired from the session. So on board with the Mercedes. BRL Shadow up by 3 tenths on his own time. So we have 30 seconds left of qualifying. So some people are going to struggle to get across the line here. I think maybe the Williams in sector 3 may have even spun. It's going slow. So anyway, back to Shadow as he comes through the left-hander aggressive line. Shadow is saying he's done purple sector. He's up by a second, so keep it together and get yourself through. Oh, he still needs to find a little bit more time as the checker flag falls. As Carguinness isn't going to improve either, nor is Coffee. So it's Harvey and BRL, as Harvey hasn't improved either, so it's just going to be down to BRL Shadow. Can he get himself in to the top 10 and knock out Boy Knockout? He's coming round now. Can he improve? He does. He goes P6. So Boy Knockout. Where is Boy Knockout? Boy Knockout also up on time. Can he dispose King Bryn, who won't improve? He's up by 5 tenths as well. Boy Knockout. So here he comes through the sweeping right-hander. Maybe he lost a little bit of time there as he comes around the last corner. That's very smooth, and it's a charge to the line, and it's P7. So King Bryn is out. So it's Eyeball Paul on the bubble, but no one else is on track. So that is going to be the end of Q2. And we have 10 cars remaining. So you're going to have Eyeball Paul, Bucky, Gatekeeper, Boy Knockout, Shadow, Mickey, Ghosts, Joker, UJGC, and Swanton, who has been imperious form around Kota tonight so far. So, who is the chat's thoughts for Paul? It's hard to look past the Williams. As the session will start in 29 seconds. So, now is a good time as any. To thank you all for watching our stream. If you haven't already given us a follow, please do and subscribe to the channel should you wish as Q3 gets underway. And if you want to support us further, or don't want to subscribe to the Twitch but would still like to support us, then check out our Patreon. The link is in the Twitch chat. So we have a Aston Martin of UJGC, not gone on board with UJGC tonight, so we'll go on board with him for his first push lap, first car out. Closely followed by, I believe, Swanton. Yeah, by Swanton. So, UJCC just approaching the left-hander, and we're coming down the back straight. The Aston Martin gearing itself up for an assault, an upstage Swanton, who's, as I said, been in imperious form so far in qualifying. But UJGC is a fast driver in Tier 2s. He's just gearing his car up, getting it into the optimal working range, and prepare his assault on this COTA track in Austin, Texas. So every car but Bucky out on track. So UJGC on the charge now. Let's get this up again. Apologies for that. There we go. So we're coming through the S section, and the Aston Martin rather working it beautifully through that part of the circuit. So he drifts and he spun. Commentator's curse. Bit of a Max Verstappen there catching it. He needs to get off the racing line because he's going to have a Williams for company. But he's decided to get the hammer down anyway. But we'll come away from him and go on board with Swanton. What can Swanton produce? As the Aston does get out of the way under the braking zone. Swanton just coming around the fast sweeping right-hander now. Maximum G-force there, I imagine, in a real car. Not so much for us sim racers, but it's going to come into the final corner and maximum attack to the line, and it's going to be a 1:34.0. So Swanton keeping up his fast pace as Shadow is coming round now. Bit of traffic ahead of him. Red Bull just gets out of the way in time. But I believe that the other Red Bull is just ahead, as Red Bull may be the only... Oh no, Mercedes have too as well, and McLaren. Ignore that previous comment as we're coming round the right-hander. So what sort of time is Shadow going to do? So he would put a lap out, but he is on the medium tyre now, and it is going to be a 1:36. We'll go on board with Ghosts for his fast lap. Ghost is coming through the S section. Now it's maximum attack towards the hairpin where the Mercedes just ahead is going through. Joker's on the 134s. Mickey also very close to Swanton. So this will be very interesting on the second round of push runs as Ghost is coming past now. And there's a good line in there by the Red Bull. So just coming round now through the hairpin section here. Grandstand to the right. Under the Rolex paraphernalia. The Red Bull working very well for Ghost there. Being very obedient. It's going to be a 134.7, so good enough for provisional P4. Eyeball Paul boxing. So we've got on board with UJGC, who's invalidated his outlap. So we'll see what he can do on his push lap. He'll be in the mix for pole if he can get a clean lap in with just a little over 5 minutes remaining. Which reminds me, don't forget the 5-minute break at the end of qualifying. We will let you guys know when to ready up. So the Aston working very well. Another car being very obedient through the S section of the circuit. Now it's about maximum attack on this fastest part of the track once you clear this hairpin. Now it's power down, go through the gears as fast as possible. Make sure you pick out your braking point and turn in, and then you're on again. You just get through this tight winding hairpin as UJGC is on the Stormer purple sector 2. Fast right hander now for UJGC in the Aston. Maximum attack. Can he upstage Swanton and nick a provisional P1? And he's going to be a drive to the line. He is going to do it. He has. So UJGC is fastest from Swanton. Look at that. 2 1,000ths. Sorry, 2 100ths between them. And then from them two, it's Mickey. Just a 10th or so behind. So great lap there from UJGC. We'll go on board with Boy Knockout. And it's saying Boy Knockout has gone fastest in sector 2. It's been saying a lot of people have been going fastest in the sectors, so maybe there is a bit of a glitch, but there certainly wasn't there with UJGC. He's coming as Boy Knockout is coming round through to the final corner now, and it's maximum attack for the Red Bull. And it moves into P6. And the Red Bull has spun. So we'll go on board with Eyeball Paul. See where he... So we'll come away from Eyeball Paul. What can Swanton do on his push lap? So Swanton. Oh, it was saying a completely different time a minute ago. Weird. So on board with Boy Knockout. But we'll go back to Swanton and watch his fast lap. So Swanton just coming through the S's and is invalidated, so we'll go on board with Joker. As ARC Mickey into the 133s in the Ferrari. So the Ferrari laying down the gauntlet. As Joker coming through. It says Joker sector purple sector 1, so we shall see as UJGC is out on an outlap, but he hasn't got enough time to get round. It's only 27 seconds left. Yellow flags wave in all sectors, and Boy Knockout has retired from the session. Swanton has invalidated it, and he's going very slow. He's letting, I believe that was Joker coming through. No, it was BRL Shadow, and Swanton isn't going to improve. So where is Joker going to finish? So you have, as he's diving towards the first of the hairpins, now it's into the fast flowing right-hander, maximum power. Go. And then you just want to throw it into these last two corners, squeeze every 10th out the track, every 1000th out the track, and now it's a dive to the finished line, and it's P1 for Joker. So what is Mickey doing as Mickey boxes Joker with an incredible lap for P1, 1:33.8, and BKS Ghost isn't going to improve on that. Gatekeeper isn't going to improve on that. We'll keep our eye on the McLarens as Bucky comes round the corner. Bucky ain't going to improve on that. That's going to be P9 for Bucky, and Eyeball Paul has invalidated, so that is going to complete your grid. It's going to be Mercedes from Ferrari from Aston to get us underway after our 5-minute break, of course. But what a lap from Joker. So we will go to our 5-minute break after I get a time from race control. When we can go racing, it'll be in the Discord and posted here as well. So if gatekeep, there we go. Right, so I'll just get a so let me just try something. So we will have our 5 minutes, as Mrs. P has put the time in, so I'm just trying to edit to do the contrast, so just bear with me. I'm going to put myself on mute. I believe I got a little bit better, but I'll have a proper tinker around with it. Still quite dull, but it's better than what it was, I think. Anyway, so we've got a minute before we go racing, so it's going to be Joker on pole, and then it's going to be Mickey on the front row with him. Then you're going to have Swanton closely behind. As it is now time to go racing. So we're going to go formation lap, and then we're going to go racing. The timer ticks down at the Circuit of Americas. So we have a very mixed bag of tyres. We got Joker on the mediums, Mickey on the hards, so the front two doing alternate strategies. Then we got UJGC and Swanton and Gatekeeper on the mediums. And then the two Red Bulls are on the hards. Surprised they haven't split their strategy. As BRL Ghost, BRL Shadow rather, is on the mediums. Then you got Bucky on the hards and Eyeball Paul on the mediums. So McLaren splitting. King Bryn is on the mediums. Maddie, to Kaginis and Coffee are on the hards. Harvey and Pro Beast mediums. Copland, Hybrid and Cotcass on the hard tyres. So we are just with the lead car, but we will actually come away and go on board with UJG. Well, we won't go on board, we'll go on broadcast cam for the start. Sciencey says it's going to be a great race. Some serious pacing quali. Yeah, it was very, very fast driving there. I can't remember the tier 1 pole time, but I believe it was not a great deal quicker. So let me just have a look, because I've got a picture of it actually. So JT Galato yesterday was a 1:32.9. So I can't remember what Joke had done, but we're just forming the back of the grid now. As Jamie says, good luck to everyone, especially his teammates in the McLarens. So Maddie was disqualified from the session for parking badly, I'd assume. But so she'll have a little bit of a disadvantage into turn 1, and she'll be set back in her grid box a little bit. So we have 5 LED lights, 5 red lights, and and away we go. That was weird. Lights disappeared ages ago for me. So Joker gets a good start, but UJGC may lead into turn 1. Joker runs wide, so it is going to be UJGC to take the lead of this Grand Prix. Swanton is there. Mickey getting off to a slow start on the hards. The mediums gobbling up the hard runners early, as we have Gatekeeper into the wall. So Gatekeeper into the wall, didn't see what happened. We'll go on board with Boy Knockout in the hards. Joker did a 1:33.8. So we have an AlphaTauri of Gatekeeper struggling, and then Hybrid in P19, P18. Did he have a moment? We're on board with Boy Knockout. We'll come away though and go on board with Swanton, who is hunting down Joker in the Mercedes. And UJGC in the lead. Harvey and King Bryn switch places as Joker's ran wide. What's happened to Joker? He's ran wide and the Williams dives through and has a look up the inside of the Aston, but the Aston able to hold him off as we're on board with Joker. We'll just be hoping that these two, he can be a bit of a beneficiary of these two squabbling, as we have a McLaren spinning, and I believe that's Eyeball Paul in sector 3 as UJGC goes fastest. Not surprising, as he's leading the race, and Gatekeeper is really limping round. So we're on board with Swanton. In fact, we'll come away from Swanton, we'll head into the midfield. The two Hasses, Copeland on the charge. He's got King Bryn and Bucky ahead of him, and Gatekeeper may need to box as he must have damage. He's going round there. So on board with Copeland. Will he get the move done on King Bryn into the hairpin? He's going to go around the outside. As Eyeball Paul has retired from the session, and Coffee. What has happened there? is that is a full safety car and a lifeline for Gatekeeper, who nearly runs into the back of the safety car. That could have topped his evening off. So we have a full safety car. We lost Coffee and Eyeball Paul. Didn't see the incident on stream, so if you guys could clip it and put it into the Google form, the stewards will look at it. Remember, 12 hours to submit them now, not the 24, because we want a faster turnover. So, safety car waiting to pick up the Aston as we're going to creep round. The Aston being picked up, the lead car being picked up. So we're gonna come down the main straight, back straight rather. Kofi is still limping around. He's pitted, that'll be why he's got the mediums on. As he spun again, he must have rear wing damage the amount he's spinning up. Sorry, not Kofi, Gatekeeper rather. There must be some sort of damage to that AlphaTauri because he can't keep it on the racetrack. Just stay on board with him whilst we wait for him to catch the pack up. Needs to get some heat into those tyres. So we're going to be... Who else has boxed? BRL Shadow has boxed. Is coming together there. Excuse me. Gatekeeper picks up a time penalty now for corner cutting. And he's just not making any sort of impression on these cars, so we may go racing without him at this rate. But we'll go back on board. We'll go on board with Boy Knockout. Gatekeeper has retired from the session. Must have had terminal rear wing damage. Give it his best, I believe, but safety car is in this lap, so we're gonna go on board with Joker for the restart. See if he can get a good launch at the Williams and the Aston ahead of him. So just coming around the not so fast sweeping right-hander at the moment. So going to be wanting to get heat in the tyres. And up front UJC is gone and Swanton's gone with him. But Joker just maybe caught a napping a little bit. So we'll go on board with Swanton. Maddie and King Bryn have exchanged places. And King Bryn gets the place back. We'll go on board with that particular squabble. Maddie runs wide. That's going to put Carguinness all over the back as she has Alfa Romeos either side of Hybrid and get Carguinness. And they both get the move done through the S's. And what has happened to Pro Beast? Must have been contact for Pro Beast. But the two Alphas disposing of Maddie. And we'll go on board with Bucky, who's having a look upside the other Haas. But Copeland hanging on. But will he be vulnerable down? The McLaren is through, so can Copeland have a go? Copeland might have a go into the braking zone. He thinks better of it. And now can he get a better exit and a run on that McLaren? Got a good exit there as the McLaren runs wide and runs wide again. And Copeland says thank you very much and is back through. Can Bucky come back at him? He's going to go up the inside. They're very close to being contact there. And Bucky's ran wide and the Alpine of King Bryn waiting in the wings. The Swanton sets the fastest lap of the race and is really reeling in UJGC up front. But we're on board with King Bryn, who is having a little look up the inside of Bucky, but Bucky covers him off, and now the Alpine just has to sit and take the music through the S's, you feel, but Carguinness is joining the party. These two squabble. The Alfa Romeo, like he just pounced on one Haas, could be ready to pounce on the McLaren. But we'll go on board with leaders down the back straight. As we have yellow flags and Pro Beast. What's happened to Pro Beast at the back? So Swanton just coming down towards the tightening sharp left-hander. And UJGC is 8/10 up the road, and Carguinness has pounced on the Alpine, but the Alpine coming back at him, 3 cars wide pretty much, and now King Bryn is in a bit of an Alfa Romeo sandwich, but has track position on Hybrid. So they go side by side, and DRS. What has happened to King Bryn? Not got the best angle. So what has happened here? King Bryn, there must have been contact. The stream gave me a terrible angle there. I do apologise for missing that. We'll go on board with the 2 Red Bulls running in at P5 and P6. That is very good for Hockey Man, who I know is watching the stream. He'll be very happy to see that. And also the Sensei will be very happy to see the Red Bulls doing very well. As we'll go on board, Maddie picks up a time penalty. We'll go on board with King Bryn. The 2 Alpines going to be squabbling. Kokas, who should be in a Aston, I think, but whatever. As the Mercedes trying to join the party, a BRL Shadow. In fact, we're going to go to the lead because Swanton is about to get the move done and does get the move done. And UJDC comes back at him, but Swanton able to hold him off under DRS. So now it'll be, can UJDC answer the bell? Can he get back at him? We'll come away just for now as Pro Beast picks up a time penalty. Go on board with Carguinness all draped all over the rear wing of that McLaren. Looking at those, what look like QR codes on the back of that McLaren. But reeling in UJGC is Joker, just ever so slightly reeling him in, and he's going to possibly be able to launch an attack, as UJGC actually has a time penalty. I didn't see that. As hybrid boxes, Carguinness has passed Bucky. They're having a right old squabble, but I'm going to stay with, in fact, I will just have a quick look. But I want to go back to the leaders down the back straight. DRS very powerful down that back straight. We'll come away and we'll go on board with Joker. I just don't think he's going to be far close enough. UJGC is very fast in a straight line as well, it looks like. Yeah, he's not going to be fast enough, so we're going to come away and go on board with Bucky. King Bryn has a time penalty. So Harvey trying to break the toe ahead of Carguinness. And the McLaren just following them in through the left-hander. So we'll go on board with the Alpine of King Bryn as he looks on the rear wing of that Mercedes. But BRL Shadow just closing the door there and preventing any possibility of a move. But Carguinness is really flying as UJDC puts in the fastest lap of the race, like a little statement to say remember me. But on board with Carguinness and Harvey squabble as we have Cockcast spinning, and was there contact between the two Alpines? I'm not sure, as Harvey goes defensive and forces Carguinness a long way round, who looks for the switchback but it's not there, and they're going to go too wide through the S's, and the Alfa Romeo is going to cruise off into the distance there. So we're going to go on board with Joker as Copeland picks up the time penalty now. So on board with Copeland, he's a little bit closer to UJDC this lap, so maybe the DRS will kick in a bit better than it did the previous lap. You can already see he's just starting to catch him, but he is going to run out of tarmac before the braking phase. He just has a little nose up the inside, but nothing there. We have an Alpine spinning, and Cockass has retired from the session. You shouldn't be retiring on track. Retire in the pits. So we're on board with Swanton, who is just holding off UJGC. But Bucky having a look up the inside of the AlphaTauri of Harvey, but nothing's there. So we're going to approach the S section. So UJGC is actually very close to Swanton, so we'll cut away from that battle. Go to the battle for the lead. So we have King Bryn out. What has happened to King Bryn? And that is a full safety car. So safety car is deployed. And will the medium tyre runners take the hards 18 laps and get themselves a cheap stop? That's what I would be doing. I'd be interested to see. Oh, is Swanton going to take the track position? I think he should box. I think Swanton should box. And he does. UJCC follows him in, and Joker follows him in. So, Ghost is pitting off on the hard tyres. Mickey is going to be your de facto race leader. As we have Boy Knockout coming through on the hards. So, drive-through penalty for BRL Shadow. That is painful, especially under safety car. You're rushing to get in to save as much time rather as you possibly can, and Shadow is DNF'd. So, Shadow is DNF'd, possibly retired from session. So there were 13 runners and riders remaining. And the Mercedes is coming out on track, so that suggests he retired because of the drive-through penalty. I know it's frustrating, but next time please drive round again if you want to retire, because your car is now out on track. So Pro Beast is coming round. And your car's disappeared, so no worries. So we'll go on board with Bucky, who has gone for the medium, so he's gone the other way and boxed. So Bucky coming back into the pits. Is there damage there? What has happened with Bucky? On board with Carguinness, who was rampaging forward before the safety cars. We have 12 laps gone, 16 remaining. We're approaching half distance. And we're just creeping around, waiting for the last two of Pro Beast and Bucky to catch up, and we will be going racing again. So safety car will be in this lap, and barring any more safety cars, it's really snookered the top three. I guess they'll have to think about taking those tyres as long as they can and just pray that something else comes out to help them, because at the minute they just give away pretty much, well, they have just give away a free pit stop too from Swanton down. Everyone's had a free pit stop and used the the compulsory amount of compound tyres, so none of the others have to stop. Although I don't know if Ghosts or Bucky can get those mediums to the end in any fit state. So we're going to go racing. We're going to hop on board with Mickey, who's going to lead us out, but expect Swanton to be fast on those fresher hards, as he got 10 lap distance on Swanton, as UJGC has a look up Swanton. So this is the race for the de facto lead, and UJGC having a look through the S's. But just down the grid, Maddie and Harvey exchanging places, but we'll go back to Swanton. So the Williams of Swanton gaining on Copland. How long can Copland hold him off for? How long will he want to hold him off for before it effectively runs his race, as he struggles, and Swanton now is going to be all over the back of him, and if he can get a better exit out of the final corner, he can have the run down into turn one. We have a McLaren. What's happened to Bucky? 3 seconds. What has happened to Bucky at the back? Time penalty for Harvey, and Swanton cruises past the Haas. And UJGC trying to get past the Haas as well. And Copland losing 2 places on one straight. But that's to be expected. These two are much fresher rubber. They're going through the S's, and Copland just struggling a bit there to keep the car compliant through that section. And Hybrid all over Pat their sister Haas now. Swanton will start to reel in the front runners before long, I'd imagine. I'll keep an eye on that, but we're on the board as Pro Beast. What has happened to Pro Beast? So we'll come back to as Hybrid gets the run down on Maddie. But will the Haas be able to get back at the Alfa Romeo under braking? No. Yields position. Copland is closing in on the Red Bull. The Red Bull's actually squeezed past Copland somewhere. And then Joker needs to deposit of these two cars, needs to clear this barrier between him and Swanton and UJGC, as Haas is running wide. Joker will get the benefit of DRS, I believe, this lap. As BK Ghost sets the fastest lap of the race, so statement there. On board with Joker, last week's winner, and he's coming through the S section now as he's using a bit of his ERS. But will he be able to deposit this Haas? It's very critical for his race. He gets past this Haas sooner rather than later, but up front Swanton is catching Boy Knockout, so we will stay on this battle. And That rear wing, is DRS available this lap? I believe it is. That rear wing will open and you will see the gap close, but I feel he is just a bit too far back this lap to get it done, as Joker is through on Copland, and Joker gets the move done there. So back on board Swanton, chasing down the Red Bull of Boy Knockout. Sorry Shadow, it looked on my stream that it said you didn't. Sorry about that. Wasn't meaning to accuse you of anything wrongdoing. Swanton having a look up the inside of the Red Bull maybe, but he's going to be too far back. As Maddie has boxed, and Maddie is boxed. Maddie will put on the medium tyres, you assume. UJGC and Swanton, basically your de facto P1 and P2 cars. As Ghost picks up a time penalty, but is closing in on UJGC. Ghost finding some pace in the Red Bull, and he's going to have a good drive down, but UJGC will also have the DRS of Swanton. So can Ghost get the move done? He is going to have a look, and he's going to get him under braking. So Ghost is through into P4, and Swanton is past Boy Knockout. Round the outside goes Swanton. Now he can hunt down ARC Mickey in the lead. He'll go on board with UJGC. Can he come back at Ghosts? Might be a bit of a waiting game with Ghost as you wait for his medium tyres to deteriorate. But we'll go on board with Hybrid now, who is hunting down the AlphaTauri of Harvey. We have yellow flags, and what has happened to Pro Beast? Pro Beast at the moment there. On board again with Pro Beast as he got rear wing down. He seems to be struggling. Seems to be struggling to get that car to comply through the hairpin. Those tyres will be cold. As Copland pits. So Joker catching up to UJGC. Swanton in the lead though. Well, Mickey in the lead, but Swanto is de facto leader because Mickey needs to stop as Copland picks up a time penalty. Pro Beast is in the pits. And he's put on the soft, so he's going to have a go on the soft tyre. And I don't think they'll get to the end. That is a big ask, 11 laps. Impossible ask. Come away from that battle and go on board with Hybrid, who is chasing down Harvey. Keeping my eye on Ghost and Swanton as well. Just behind them is Bucky, so you got a three-way battle for P7 at the moment. Obviously, a couple of time penalties starting to add up for the drivers now. But Mickey is sort of between a rock and a hard place. What does he do? Does he take the pain now, or does he just keep going and hope for a safety car? Because I think a safety car comes, everyone dives in for soft tyres. I think that's got to be what he tries to do. As Bucky is able to get past Hybrid, and now can he clear the AlphaTauri? AlphaTauri going a bit slower through the S's there, and he's going to make him vulnerable. Hybrid picks up a time penalty just behind this squabbling pair. So we'll go on board with Hybrid as Ghost is still trying to reel in Swanton in for P2. As Bucky spun. So we have the DRS advantage for Hybrid despite the spin because he was in the detection zone as Pro Beast picks up a time penalty for corner cuts. So we'll go on board with Ghost, who is reeling in Swanton, who is reeling in Mickey as a 5-second penalty applied for boy knockout for ignoring yellow flags. So Mickey is boxed. Mickey thought maybe the safety car isn't coming, and he'll hop onto the medium tyre. So Swanton in the lead. Joker P3, Ghost P2, but it'd be interesting to see how far Ghost can take those tyres. Car Guinness in P4. Mickey gonna come out around P8, you would imagine. P7, Copland with the fastest lap. So Copland's starting to fly as well. We'll go on board with Bucky, who's just had a bit of a moment, just had a spin. As UJGC has boxed for the softs. So, interesting strategy, because I don't know if they're going to go to the end. What has happened to Pro Beast? Off the circuit again. Spinella. Hybrid into the hairpin. As Ghosts and Swanton exchanging the battle for the lead. I didn't see what happened, but Swanton was off track. And Ghost is through, so Ghost is going to lead this race. But we're on board with the Williams, who should just maybe play the waiting game and let, as long as Ghost doesn't gallop off into the Austin sunset, he just needs to stay with him as Pro Beast, speeding the pit lane, retires from the session. So, this car is going to come out on track. Don't know why it's doing that. So we have Copland again putting in a fast lap. So Copland really starting to fly now. As Hybrid and Mickey and Harvey battling for P5. As the ghosted Pro Beast is just on circuit, being a bit of a roadblock. And UJGC has DNF'd. What has happened there? What happened to UJGC and all that? He's in the pits. So we have 11 cars remaining. And Swanton is sticking with Ghosts. It'll be interesting to see when the changeover point comes, because it can't be too far away when the hard tyre becomes the better tyre to be on. And Ghost will need to get his elbows out, but along that back straight it's going to be very hard to do so, as Copland has passed Boy Knockout. We'll just go above them to Hybrid. As Ghost is currently gapping Swanton, but Swanton just reeling it back in. On board with Hybrid now, still chasing down the AlphaTauri. As we go through the penultimate corner. Just losing a bit of ground there to the AlphaTauri in front. But Harvey able to get the power down, and now he looks a little bit closer than he has previously, but the AlphaTauri feeling the need to break the toe, going slightly defensive, getting out into the middle of the track before picking his braking area and completing the corner. But Copeland is all on the back of these. Copeland is absolutely flying, but there's contact. And Hybrid getting his elbows out and Copeland getting his elbows out. But the Haas driver's through and flying to all over the back of Harvey. And can he get the move done down the back straight? If he can get a good enough exit here, you feel that the AlphaTauri will just be a bit of a sitting duck down the back straight. And he's got a very good exit. I don't know. Lack of ERS, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold him off, as the AlphaTauri is able to use some ERS, possibly to wane him off. And as you can see, as the Red Bull has a little look, and behind there's a bit of squabbling. But Boy Knockout and Hybrid going side by side. Is there contact? Maybe. Doesn't look like it. Just on the edge of good driving there, I think. But we have 6 laps remaining now, and can Ghost hold off Swanton? A Joker possibly out the running, 2 seconds back. A lot of time to make up there, but we'll go on board with Copland, who is absolutely flying now. Can the AlphaTauri hold him off this time? I don't think he's going to be able to. Copeland's going to get on the brakes. Good driving from the pair, and he's through. As PKS Ghost picks up a time penalty, that is crucial. That is now Swanton's race to lose. If I was Swanton, I wouldn't even try and race him now. I'd just stick behind him. Just tow you along, unless, of course, he falls off the racetrack with the tyres. As Harvey gets past Boy Knockout, must have took that position back, as Mickey is all over the back of the Alfa Romeo of Carguinness, but the Alfa gets a very good drive out of the corner. Mickey just, Swanton is actually creeping up to the back of Ghost now. So we'll go on board with this, even though the time penalties were still the closest battle on track, just about. Will come away as Mickey and the Alpha are squabbling. But Carguinness has pitted, so go back to the leaders. Swanton just needs a bit of educated pressure here, I think. A boxing analogy there. Just needs to keep the pressure on, keeps driving up, but just drive a little bit within himself, because he didn't want to pick up a time penalty himself and gift Joker a way back into the race. Just needs to manage that gap, but he is closer. Is he going to have a look? He's got enough ERS. Goes also able to defend on the ERS front, so needs that rear wing open, which it obviously is, but Ghost is just able to cruise around and hold on. So this is starting to get interesting, as Bucky is on the back of Hybrid, who's on the back of Harvey. So this is your battle for P7. Bucky is going to get a run down, you feel, into from the slipstream, and there he is. He's going to have a look up the inside, and he's good clean driving from the pair. The Alpha's going to have the high ground, but the switchback could be on. Bucky could get the power down, and the Alfa Romeo comes back at him. Good driving from the pair, and the Alfa Romeo is going to keep track position around the fast flowing right-hander. Carguinness is on the soft tyres. 4 laps remaining. Is he going for an extra point for the Alfa Romeo team? Do they not have enough going for fastest lap? So Jamie wants to see the pen situation. Wrong one. There you go. And Bucky with a massive corner cut there. That'll be a time penalty, surely. 6 seconds, as Copland has 9 seconds. And Ghost has 6 seconds. I didn't realise Ghost already had one, so Ghosts is surrendering P2 as well. But Joker is on the move. Has he got enough time to reel them in? So we have 4 laps remaining, well, 3.5 laps remaining now. So we're coming round on board with Bucky. We're going to leave that battle and go to Swanton up into P2. Net P1, of course, with the penalties. Battle of the Brothers says Spurs 1471. I've seen 1471 before. I believe that could be King Kong. Oh, Swanton avoids Ghosts, as Ghosts dropped it, but that has put Joker right back into the race with 3 laps remaining. And we are going to get that grandstand Battle of the Brothers finish with a Red Bull just ahead of them, not on the track, but not in terms of times with those penalties. So Red Bull getting very squeamish on those tyres, perhaps. And Joker did Swanton did very well not to drive up the rear end of that Red Bull. So rear wing open. I think Swanton knows he probably has to try and pass Ghost on track, but Ghost is very fast in a straight line. Joker could get him here. He will be willing to take the risk, says Spurs 1471. Yeah. So we're coming around now into the penultimate corner for Joker. I'm going to stay with this through the DRS zone. Just ahead, Swanton is ever closer to the Red Bull. Both of these guys pushing. But you got to say Ghost has done a remarkable job on those really old medium tyres. Through the S's we go now. Joker just starting to drop back a touch. Is he waiting? Is he just charging his ERS up for maximum attack? As we're going to stay with this battle down the main straight, then we're going to jump to the battle between Bucky and Harvey. But look how close Joker is. He's going to get the DRS. He could have a go this lap as Hybrid picks up the time penalty. He's just dangling his nose out there, mate, letting Swanton know he's there as that Safina sign on the rear wing closes. And that Red Bull is so fast, but as you can see, he is harvesting. So he is so fast in a straight line, though. What Ghosts? Be interesting to see what downforce he's running. As Swanton gets a bit squeamish there himself, and that has put Joker onto the back of him. So Swanton just faster through that exit there, so Swanton able to maintain there. So penultimate lap, and Swanton is just faster in that last sector to hold him off. As Sainz says, what a last couple of laps this is going to be. Let me get back on board with what the people want to see. So Battle of the Brothers through the S's. Williams leading the Mercedes. Ghost not a factor because of his 6-second time penalty, but he will keep hold of a podium place if he can hold off Mickey. As Swanton making the move now on Ghost, is he under braking? And he gets the move done, so now he has a bit of a barrier between him. Oh, Joker's going to follow him through. Joker's going to follow him through. Is Ghost going to have a little go back at him? Joker is going to go through. Is he going to go for 2 in 1? No, no. So we're going to get a one lap shootout between the brothers. So, Swanton in the lead, Joker P2, Ghost P3. And then Mickey is starting to catch Ghosts for P4. But Ghost just needs to hold on, maintain that gap. And they've both got a similar amount of ERS, the two drivers. So here we go, one lap, and Swanton does nearly have this. He has he's 8 tenths up. He wants to try and get himself out of DRS if he can. That would be a big game changer. But Swanton has been fast in a straight line, so as Carguinness is closing in on Bucky down the field. But I don't think the Mercedes is going to have an answer for Swanton today. But look at Mickey closing in on Ghosts. Is he going to rob the Red Bull of a podium? He's really closing in on Ghosts. He's on the charges. Bucky passes Carguinness off stream. And Joker gets a good launch, but so does Swanton. Swanton's race to lose now. He got a much better exit and drive. And look at Mickey for P4. He's going to sneak in. He's under the 6-second threshold. And Joker just relying on Swanton to make a mistake now, I feel. We're going to go through the tightening the hairpin. Swanton is just keeping it within himself here. Just needs to hold his cool and take the fast right-hander. And yeah, I can't see how Joker can get him here. It's Joker, as it's going to be Swanton's race, so Swanton is going to come across the line for P1. And Joker is going to take P2. And it's going to be Mickey, I believe, for P3. With the 6 seconds for Ghost. It's going to be Mickey P3. Ghost P4. Going to be Copland. No, it's not. It's going to be Boy Knockout for P5, perhaps. We have yellow flags. What has happened to Bucky off the stream? Let's see where Carguinness finishes, because he didn't have any penalties. So he should definitely jump up a place or two. Carguinness comes across the line, P7. So Harvey relegated to P8 with the penalties, as we have Hybrid getting squirmy on the exit. And that is going to be... Just wait for Maddie to finish. And that is going to be your classification there. Swanton taking the lead. Taking the win, rather. Joker in the Mercedes P2. And it's disappeared, but Mickey the third podium place. So is for a Constructors' Championship point of view, it was very good as Copeland gets the in-game driver of the day. It was very good to see Alfa Romeo just dropping off a touch today because they had dominating the Constructors' Championship. So no offense to Carguinness, because he's an Alfa Romeo. Want a slight on him, just a slight for combined constructors. As there we have it. We have Swanton from Joker, from Mickey, from Ghosts. The two Red Bulls, P4, P5. Carguinness, P7. Alpha Ferrari in P8 with Harvey. Then Bucky in P9. Then Alpha in P10. And Maddie, the last finisher in the Haas in P11. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow night. I think I'm on commentary tomorrow night, so have a good evening.